Before we start any kind of workout, I always want to remind you guys you need to stretch your wrists. Stretching your wrists is integral for calisthenics. Now you may be asking, how do we stretch our wrists? Well, I have constructed the perfect video for you guys. Check the description box below for this 5-minute follow-along wrist routine. Recognizing that today is a push day and we're going to be doing a lot of pushing exercises, I find it beneficial to start our warm-up by doing explosive push-ups. You want to do 2 sets of 8 to 12. Aim to push hard, fast, and controlled. Now that you've warmed up, let's work on some isometrics, starting off with the pseudo planche lean. Things to keep in mind: you want to keep your toes pointed, maintain full body tension by squeezing your thighs, quads, and ankles, keep that forward lean and protracted scapula. We are going to be doing this exercise for 3 sets of 10 seconds, or holding it for as long as possible while keeping strict form. For this next exercise, there's going to be 4 types of holds that you can choose from. The first one is the frog stand, which can be done by nestling your knees into your elbows or slightly above that. For this second hold, you want to nestle your elbows into your abdominals, like so. Turn your hands downwards and get into what we call an elbow lever. This one is slightly more difficult than the frog stand because of the full body activation we are using. As you can see, I am activating most of my muscles and trying to maintain this straight posture. The third exercise is a tuck planche, which is a progression of the pseudo planche lean. And lastly, the L-sit is a full body exercise relying heavily on scapular depression and hip mobility. Like I said, do one of those 4 with the correct hold times. Now let's get into sets and reps. Starting off with a push-up variation here called the pseudo planche push-up. We're going to be doing 3 sets of 5 reps. As you can see, I have my hands turned slightly outwards and I'm heavily utilizing the protraction of my scapula at the top of the rep. Not only that, but we're also maintaining that forward lean throughout the entire exercise. Please do not underestimate this push-up style. It's brutal. Coming up next, we're going to be doing something called squat to pike holds for 3 sets of 12 reps. We're going to simply get into a pike position and then sit back down into a squat. Doing this as an initiative to hopefully increase our wrist mobility and pike position holds. And since we're already in that position, let's go ahead and bang out some pike push-ups. We're going to be doing 3 sets of 8 reps, making sure our head falls above our hands at the bottom of the rep, and we push up and back through our scapula at the top of the rep. You also want to apply full body tension, squeezing your thighs and core, and make sure you're keeping tucked elbows, as this is what's going to translate to your future goal of accomplishing a handstand push-up. And you know we are not going to skip dips. We're going to be doing bodyweight dips for 3 sets of 8 reps. You don't have to do them outside on a block like I'm doing, but this is just the best place for me. You could also use 2 chairs as a balance point for your dips. Creativity is truly a blessing when it comes to calisthenics. You'll also notice as I'm doing these dips, I am keeping tension on my chest muscles. I am not going past a comfortable position, and I am leaning forward on every decline. Coming up next is the archer push-up, which is a great regression exercise, especially if you have hopes of learning the one-arm push-up. This is also a great exercise to combat any imbalances you might have in your arms or chest. If one of your arms are weaker than the other, this is probably the exercise for you. Alright, I know you're tired, but let's finish out with some core. One of my favorite exercises for mastering the hollow posture, we're going to be doing boat holds for 3 sets of 30 seconds. As key points to remember for this exercise, you want to make sure your shoulders and legs are off the ground, keeping your lower back pressed into the ground. If this position is too difficult for you to hold, I want you to do the intermediate level, making a right angle with your thighs and ankles. This should also help you keep your lumbar spine pressed into the ground. If this is still too difficult, then bring your knees to your chest in the beginner level of the boat hold. I can't deny the importance of stability when it comes to core work, but I love these side oblique crunches. Let's not forget that it is your obliques that give your abs that look as if they are popping out, so I love to work on them when I can. And finally, our last exercise, we're going to be doing elevated pike holds. This is going to be handstand practice for us in the future, making sure we're pressing out, keeping our shoulders above our ears, and flexing our core the entire way. You can see how I'm leaned into my hands and applying full body tension to all of the working muscles. Thank you for staying till the end. If you are interested, I do offer online coaching. You can sign up at strict.co. Strict form only.